And what are we told is the number one cause of heart disease? Cholesterol.
This staggering statistic has long been linked to cholesterol, a substance often painted as the primary culprit. But is this widely accepted notion accurate?
To say that cholesterol causes heart disease is like saying the fire trucks cause the fire. Well, they must cause the fire. Have you noticed they're always there? It's like saying the ambulances are causing the accidents. Well, they must. They're the one common denominator.
Cholesterol, a fatty substance produced by the liver, is essential for bodily functions. The liver cleverly adjusts cholesterol production based on the body's needs. However, this natural process has been unfairly demonized.
So if the body needs a lot of cholesterol, the liver will make a lot of cholesterol. If the body doesn't need much cholesterol, it won't make much cholesterol.
Dr. Kendrick, author of The Great Cholesterol Con, argues that normal cholesterol levels are being wrongly blamed for a disease.
And he says in his book, for the first time, normal levels of a normal vital body substance is being called a disease.
Dr. Campbell McBride, in her book, Put Your Heart in Your Mouth, shares this sentiment, providing evidence that cholesterol is not the heart disease villain it's made out to be.
These are doctors and health professionals from all over the world, all saying the same thing. What are they saying? Cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Dr. Malcolm Kendrick said, I'm still waiting for the evidence. There is no proof. Isn't that incredible?
Barbara O'Neill highlighted two contrasting approaches to healing. The first approach is based on faith, with the belief that the body was designed to heal itself. The second approach is rooted in fear, involving drugs, and the idea that the body, having evolved rather than being created, cannot heal on its own. She pointed out the alarming statistic that medicine, including prescribed drugs and medical errors, is the third leading cause of death globally.
And did you know that the third killer in the world today is medicine? And this is not just medical mistakes, it's also prescribed.
To emphasize the dangers of medical interventions, O'Neill shared a news story about two young men in their late 20s who participated in a medical drug trial and experienced severe adverse effects. These men, who were previously fit and healthy, ended up in the ICU and were not expected to survive.
And they were only in their late 20s. They did it because they were going to get some money for it. I thought, what? And then a pharmaceutical representative came on and was being interviewed. What's going on, these men? And he said, well, it didn't do this on the rats. I don't know about you, but I am not interested in being experimented on. I looked at the newspaper the next day, nothing. It was never on the news again, nothing. Ugh, how often does that happen?
This tragic incident highlighted the potential risks of pharmaceuticals, especially considering that, according to a pharmaceutical representative, the drug had not shown such severe effects in animal testing.
I'm so glad that God gave me a body that can heal itself. He gave me a mind that can consider, that can analyze, and that can make choices about what I do to my body. And a lot of people have been deceived, and a lot of people are ignorant about these basic ways of healing.
Barbara O'Neill voiced her concerns about the ethics of medical experimentation and the lack of media attention on certain negative outcomes. She stressed the importance of self-healing and the natural ability we all have to make informed health choices. Many people, including parents who choose to vaccinate their children, act with good intentions, and she emphasized that they should not be criticized for decisions made with incomplete information.
In the book of Acts in the Bible, chapter 17, verse 30, it says that God winks at our ignorance. Did you hear that? God winks at our ignorance, and so should we. Many people are sick because they did not realize it.
She urged her audience to stay vigilant and continue investigating health issues to uncover the truth. Shifting her focus to cholesterol, O'Neill addressed common misconceptions, She clarified that cholesterol is primarily produced by the liver. About 80% comes from glucose, and only 20% from fats, highlighting that dietary fats are not the main contributors to high cholesterol levels.
It's not the butter on the bread, it's the bread under the butter. The wrong guy's been shot. Fat's been shot because of who it hangs around with.
There are two main types of cholesterol: high-density lipoprotein, HDL, and low-density lipoprotein, LDL. HDL, often termed the good cholesterol, transports excess cholesterol back to the liver. LDL, labeled as the bad cholesterol, actually plays a crucial role in the body.
But the body doesn't make anything bad. It doesn't make anything bad. So why is it called the bad cholesterol? Well, first of all, let me show you what its role is in the body. LDL cholesterol is the repairer and the rebuilder.
O'Neill also contrasted the energy yield of glucose and fats, noting that fats provide more calories per gram, making them an efficient energy source.
So whenever there's repair or rebuilding to be done, where will you find LDL? You'll find it there. But LDL does something else. It delivers cholesterol to the brain, and the brain loves cholesterol.
Barbara O'Neill then discussed intricacies of cholesterol and its impact on health, particularly in the context of weight loss. She addressed the common misconception that reducing fat intake is the key to losing weight, because fats provide more than twice the calories of carbohydrates. However, she emphasized that calories are units of energy and fats are a high energy fuel source that the brain, which consumes 15 times more fuel than any other cell, greatly benefits from.
And so it loves this high energy fuel.
O'Neill explained the behavior of cholesterol in the blood vessels.
So let's look at the blood vessel and look at how these cholesterols work in the blood. Because of its high density, HDL is always floating in the middle. Because of its low density, LDL, you'll find it on the edge.
High-density lipoprotein, or HDL, due to its density, floats in the middle of the bloodstream, while low-density lipoprotein, LDL, tends to be found along the edges. She referenced Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride's book, Put Your Heart in Your Mouth, which details how environmental toxins damage the endothelial cells lining the arteries. These toxins are pervasive, found in everyday items such as laundry detergent, toothpaste, shampoo, skin creams, clothing, and food. The staggering number of chemicals people are exposed to annually is estimated to increase by 100,000 new chemicals each year. The cumulative damage these chemicals inflict on the endothelial cells, which line the arteries, is emphasized. Additionally, there has been a dramatic rise in the number of chemicals found in cigarettes, increasing from 4,000 to 7,000. The medical consensus acknowledges that smoking is a significant contributing factor to heart disease.
I used to say there were 4,000 chemicals in a cigarette. My sister recently, who's a scientist, she said to me, Barbara, there's 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette. Yeah. I think even medicine acknowledges that smoking is a contributing factor to heart disease. So what's happening, students? And then mercury fillings in the mouth, those heavy metals. Mercury's found in fish, it's found in your mercury fillings in the mouth, it's found in vaccines, especially the flu vaccine.
Through her discussion, O'Neill aimed to provide a clearer understanding of the complex relationship between cholesterol, environmental toxins, and heart health, challenging commonly held beliefs and advocating for a more informed approach to managing health and preventing disease.
Well, number one, from about the 1980s, 70s, 80s, they put everyone on a fat-free diet, yeah, fat-free, low fat, told everyone to stop eating butter and start eating margarine. Has that reduced heart disease? No. Not at all. Not at all.
Barbara O'Neill discussed the cumulative damage caused by various environmental toxins and lifestyle factors on the cardiovascular system, the detrimental effects of heavy metals such as mercury, found in fish, dental fillings, and vaccines, including the flu vaccine, were highlighted. Continual exposure to these toxins leads to damage in the endothelial cells lining the arteries, necessitating repair. Low-density lipoprotein, LDL cholesterol, plays a critical role in the repair process by plugging up the holes when damage occurs. This function acts as a repair agent, but it also leads to the formation of scar tissue. Over time, this scar tissue becomes less supple, causing the arterial walls to become stiffer and more built up.
Aha, cholesterol-lowering medication. We'll put everyone over the age of 50 on cholesterol-lowering meds. Has that helped? Not at all. In fact, if anything, what it has done, it has increased dementia and Alzheimer's. In Australia, 1,700 new cases of Alzheimer's is being diagnosed every week.
O'Neill emphasized that many people are unaware of the gradual and cumulative impact of everyday chemicals, likening it to a dripping tap slowly wearing away a stone. The constant exposure to small amounts of these chemicals, such as those found in scented laundry detergents, adds up over time, contributing to arterial damage. The effects of a high carbohydrate diet include an excess of glucose in the bloodstream. This excess glucose can combine with protein molecules, making them sticky and causing them to adhere to the arterial walls. This process, known as glycation, narrows the arteries and increases the risk of blockages. When these sticky glucose protein molecules dislodge, they can travel through the bloodstream and cause significant health events. If they get stuck in the carotid artery, it can result in a stroke. If they block a vessel in the heart, it can lead to a cardiac arrest or heart attack. Heart disease is multifaceted, resulting from a combination of many factors rather than a single cause. The idea that cholesterol causes heart disease is compared to the notion that fire trucks cause fires because they are present at fire scenes, or that ambulances cause accidents because they are often at accident sites. Instead of focusing solely on cholesterol, it is recommended to investigate the underlying reasons for the buildup in the arteries. She recounted her experience working in an operating theater, describing a bypass surgery where the chest is opened. An artery from behind the knee is used to replace a blocked one in the heart, and the chest is then sewn back up. This procedure is invasive and has limitations since the artery from the leg might not last as long in the heart due to differences in tissue strength. O'Neill shared a story about Jim, a friend of her husband, Michael, who faced the prospect of a bypass surgery due to two arteries being 80% blocked. She advised Jim to make significant lifestyle changes, including stopping alcohol, smoking, and coffee, adopting a plant-based diet, exercising, and drinking more water. Jim found these suggestions extreme and opted for the surgery, but O'Neill argued that the surgery itself was far more extreme. She noted that Jim's quality of life diminished after the surgery, emphasizing that preventive measures and lifestyle changes, although challenging, could be more beneficial and less extreme in the long run.
He said, "But Barb, the specialist's a really nice guy." I said, "Well, so he should be, but Jim, what's that got to do with your heart condition?"
Barbara O'Neill elaborated on the story of Jim, highlighting that no one advised him to make significant lifestyle changes such as quitting alcohol, cigarettes, or reducing heavy meat consumption. Despite undergoing bypass surgery, Jim lived only another 5 years, passing away before reaching 70.
Jim went and had the bypass. He thought what I suggested was a bit extreme. His quality of life greatly diminished. No one told him he really should stop the alcohol or the cigarettes or the heavy meat diet. I think he lived another 5 years. He died before he even reached 70. You know.
O'Neill criticized the mainstream approach to combating heart disease, noting that efforts like promoting fat-free diets and replacing butter with margarine, or putting people on cholesterol-lowering medication, haven't reduced heart disease rates. Instead, she argued, these measures have contributed to an increase in dementia and Alzheimer's cases, pointing out the absence of Alzheimer's in historical records such as the Bible.
I haven't read about any case of Alzheimer's in the Bible, have you? And yet some of those people, they lived to lower 800 years age and their mind was clear.
She shared the story of a doctor and astronaut who experienced severe memory loss after taking the cholesterol-lowering drug Lipitor. Despite initially complying with his doctor's advice, he had 2 episodes of severe disorientation and memory loss, which resolved after discontinuing the medication. His experience, shared online, resonated with many others who reported similar issues.
We've got the same minds, we've got the same bodies. So why is this happening? What is cholesterol-lowering medication? The statin drugs are the cholesterol-lowering medication. Lipitor, Crestor, they're probably the 2 most common. I've got a book in my library at home called Lipitor, Thief of Memory.
O'Neill explained that cholesterol-lowering medications like statins block the liver's pathway for making cholesterol, which is the same pathway used to produce coenzyme Q10, a crucial heart protective enzyme. By taking statins, patients not only lower their cholesterol, but also lose this important enzyme, potentially increasing their susceptibility to heart disease.
How many people in aged care facilities have dementia because of their cholesterol-lowering medication?
Barbara O'Neill detailed the side effects of cholesterol-lowering medications like Lipitor, Crestor, and other statin drugs, listing dementia, Alzheimer's, memory loss, muscle wasting, and breast cancer. She explained that these side effects arise because sex hormones are made from cholesterol, which is inhibited by these medications. O'Neill shared an account from a pharmacist who felt the push for widespread statin use was a money-making scheme, noting that statin prescriptions often last for life, unlike antibiotics taken only for short periods.
His cholesterol levels are about 220. So the doctor said, I want to put you on some cholesterol-lowering medication. Why did he agree to go on it? He agreed to go on it because of this. No one wants to die, do they? No.
O'Neill recounted a story from a lecture in New Zealand where an elderly man shared how his wife, suffering from dementia after 5 years on Lipitor, showed rapid improvement once the medication was stopped. This story underscored her claim that many cases of dementia in aged care facilities could be linked to cholesterol-lowering drugs.
2 weeks later, his wife found him out in the garden. He didn't know who she was, he didn't know who he was, he didn't know where he was. This is a smart guy, astronaut, doctor. He stopped the Lipitor, and after a couple of weeks, his mind was clear again.
She argued that cholesterol does not cause heart disease. Rather, it is damage to arterial walls caused by various chemicals in everyday products. O'Neill encouraged eliminating these chemicals from homes and using natural alternatives like sodium bicarbonate and white vinegar for cleaning, supplemented with essential oils for fragrance. She emphasized the body's inherent ability to heal itself, advocating for a lifestyle free from harmful chemicals.
So cholesterol-lowering medication has made no difference regarding heart disease, but it has raised memory loss.
Cholesterol-lowering medications have not led to a decrease in heart disease rates, but have been associated with an increase in memory loss, dementia, and Alzheimer's cases. It has been observed that discontinuing these medications after a long-term use can result in the return of memory function, and there is no danger in stopping statins abruptly. However, medications such as cortisone or prednisone should be tapered off gradually.
We were told that a cholesterol level of 300 was perfectly fine. So 220 was perfectly fine. And if you go under 150, the brain's not going to work well because the brain needs the fat.
O'Neill emphasized that the body does not produce harmful substances, explaining that LDL cholesterol is not an enemy, but a part of the body's natural processes. She advocated for maintaining health through basic principles of nutrition and lifestyle, suggesting that adhering to these basic laws of health allows the body to restore balance and function optimally. Share your thoughts and questions in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. Stay informed, stay healthy,